We stand for invocation and pledge of allegiance, and this morning we're honored to have Pastor Randy Bachman here with us this morning to give us the invocation.
Well, let's pray. Our Father God, we thank you for the opportunity, the blessing that we have to live in this wonderful land, in this wonderful community. Thank you for all those who over the years have made it possible for us. And today we ask your blessing on those who lead us here in this community. Give them wisdom as we ask you to bless them in accordance with your word. Pray for those in authority. So guide them in wisdom, we pray. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. First up on the agenda is approval of the minutes of July 28th, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, 4 and 1 abstention. And next up is the commissioners' reports and comments. And Commissioner Wagner, you'd like to go first?
Sure. Well, good morning, everyone. I don't have much. I wanted to reiterate thanks to staff in our Washington County government. I had several Washington County residents contact me this week about different issues. Could be highway signs or invoicing or billing for ambulance rides or a couple more. And I wanted to thank staff. I'm not going to name names because I'll forget somebody. But they took care of that within a day. So anybody that would participate in any requests from the residents this past week, I appreciate that because it was well done and quick. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Letterman?
Thanks, John. Good morning, everyone. I was thankful to be able to attend the Maryland Association of Counties Summer Convention in Ocean City, the 12th through the 15th of this month. Many great educational opportunities to include data centers and appropriate policies with regards to performance standards and zoning regulations. So it's very informative. Glad I was able to attend. Was able to celebrate with Antietam Rec on Garishop Road, their 50th anniversary. Bob and Mary Rotz, wonderful people. They've served the children and the citizens of Washington County for 50 years. They're on Garishop Road next to the Antietam Creek. Just fabulous family. Tuesday, August 18th, the Smithsburg Historical Society. I was able to spend some time with them. If you haven't checked out the museum, it's at 20 East Water Street in Smithsburg. It's worth a stop. They're open on Saturdays only from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it's a narrow window for you, but it's worth the stop. Great facility, a lot of informative objects from the Smithsburg area and great people. Wednesday, August 19th, we officially opened the Robert Johnson Pool at 109 West North Avenue here in Hagerstown. Named for Lieutenant Robert Johnson, a Tuskegee Airman, worthy of your Google search to learn about this man. His nickname was Coach, so I'll leave it at that. Hopefully that'll plant a seed and you'll want to find out more about him. Great individual. And finally, guess what? Here it is, first day of school. So it's time for us all to be paying attention. Let's watch out for our children and keep them safe. That's all I got, John.
Thank you. Commissioner Parrott?
Good morning. I don't have a lot, but I do want to say thank you to Bob and Mary Rotz. The 50-year anniversary for Antietam Recreation, they have been a huge blessing to our community, really for 50 years. They have shows throughout the year. They have summer camp programs. They offer training, and they're helping young people in this community become leaders. I was able to have my kids and their cousins go to the camp several years ago, and then my own daughter ended up counseling at the camp a couple years ago. And what they do for our community and the work that they've done for young people to help grow them up is just phenomenal. I just want to say thanks for a job well done, and I pray for 50 more years for Antietam Rec.
Thank you. Commissioner Klein?
Good morning, everyone. I too attended the opening of the Robert Johnson Pool. It's a heartbeat of that community, as many of them said, and the many stories of someone learning to swim to becoming lifeguards. There were numerous stories like that, so congratulations to them. I also went down to the Rural Heritage Museum for Spud Fest on Saturday morning. It's an annual event down there with their antique tractor show and celebration down there every year, and the kids, the big horses pile up the dirt, and they all go out there and pick up those potatoes. So it was a fun event to watch. I also attended the Washington County Commission on Aging renaming their building to honor the late William K. Beard. Mr. Beard has helped me from putting playgrounds in the town of Williamsport to one of the first advocates of the new senior centers that exist today as far back as 2010. So it was kind of nice to be there and have his memory dedicated with his name on that building. He was one of the strongest advocates for the new senior center in Washington County. I also stopped down at Augusttoberfest. Jill Colbert and her team did another fantastic job. They can't say enough about the hard work and number of volunteers. I think I did stop at the Peach Festival. That might have fell into this time that we were off. Again, another tradition out there for the Leitersburg community. And of course, the firemen always have their famous pit beef sandwiches. I did stop out the new bridge opening there at the Speedway the other week. I think you guys all were in Mako maybe when that was going on, but I mean, people were riding by, blowing horns and waving to all the contractors, and so it's a big relief for that area up there to have that bridge open. And the state did a phenomenal job getting that architecture feat done in such a good time. And one other thing, I was down in the training center the other week, and they were having grain bin safety and rescue training for our first responders. With us being an ag community, a lot of grain bins, I think about once or twice a year, our career and volunteer first responders go through this type of training to help better serve the farming community. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Klein. Yes, good morning, everyone. It's good to be back in session. Also, I'd like to just congratulate Bob and Mary Rotz. I've known Bob and Mary for well over 50 years. We went to church together back when they were formulating Antietam Recreation, and so I know them extremely well, and they've done a phenomenal job over 5 decades of serving youth and children in this community in particular. So it's quite a facility, and they've done a good job there, and they've raised their family there, and the family is very supportive and part of Antietam Recreation. So unfortunately, I couldn't be at the 50th dedication. I was still at Mako, Maryland Association of Counties. I am a board member of that organization, and so it was very critical that I stay there through its entirety through mid-afternoon on Saturday. So my apologies to Mary and Bob. I would have liked to have been there. Mako, as you've heard, was a tremendous success this year. Extremely well attended. There was 350 exhibitors. You know, some people might think that we're in Ocean City and it's party time in August, but that's nowhere near the case. I think the 5 days that I was at Mako, I never saw the beach. And so also last week, a couple of us attended the Maryland Tech Council all-day symposium on data centers and AI, and once again, it was very informative. I think we got a lot of education from that, and again, we're accumulating a lot of interest and a lot of wisdom and knowledge on what is and what isn't, the fictions, and many of the things surrounding data centers, the good, the bad, the ugly, and over time here, I think hopefully with the information that we're gathering, we can make some very informative and good decisions, so collectively. Also attended the Beard recognition at the Senior Center. It was a good turnout. Paul was a very instrumental in this community. He was a kind of a quiet, hidden giant. He not only served on the Historical Society and the the Commission on Aging, but he was involved in many nonprofit organizations in this community. You didn't hear a lot of self-preservation from Paul, and it was just good to know him and in all his philanthropic endeavors, particularly through his retirement years. So hats off to naming of the Senior Center on Franklin Street in his honor. With that, I think, gentlemen, probably concludes our comments and remarks, and at this time, I'll turn it over to Michelle Gordon, our County Administrator.
Thank you. Let's see, I do have a schedule change. Item number 17, Mass Care Shelter Agreement with Washington County Public Schools will need to be removed and will be brought back at a later date. I also attended the Robert W. Johnson Pool reopening ceremony. So excited to see that pool reopen for the community. I had a great turnout as well. I attended the Maryland Tech Council Conference that Commissioner President Barr referenced. I also attended the MACO conference where there were a lot of informative sessions related to data centers and AI, provided us with a lot of good information. While at MACO, we also attended the MDOT CTP Transportation Priorities meeting with MDOT officials. Projects that we highlighted as transportation priorities here in Washington County included funding of phases 3 and 4 for Interstate 81, Chapter 30 project prioritization, renovation. What that does is it is a prioritization model for projects throughout the state. We asked for revisions to that to ensure that projects here in Washington County aren't left behind because we're rural and we don't have the traffic counts that some of those larger counties do. We asked that they revisit allocations to highway user revenues as that funding has been decreasing in recent years. For the airport, we asked that they include funding for a new air traffic control tower as well as other project priorities there at HGR. We talked about our transit priorities, which included funding, grant funding and assistance with grant applications for a new transit center here in Hagerstown. As far as state bridges, we asked that they consider funding for Route 11 Bridge in Williamsport, as well as US 522 Bridge in Hancock. We also thank them for their assistance in securing Appalachian Regional Commission funding for many projects here in Washington County. While at MACO, I also attended the Rural County Coalition meeting, the County Administrators meeting, and many other sessions on other county issues. While there, we also attended a meeting with Congresswoman April McLean Delaney. I'd also like to highlight two of the vendors that we included for our Taste of Maryland night. We had Delicia Bakery and Heavy Branch Cidery. And I have to say, Delicia Bakery, her cakes in a can were the hit of the conference. We heard about that all weekend. Next item that I'd like to talk about is recovery or halfway houses. We received a number of calls and emails regarding halfway houses and recovery houses in various communities. I'd like to thank Washington County citizens for getting involved and voicing their concerns. We understand that these changes may cause concern within our community. Unfortunately, state law preempts the county's ability to oversee local zoning and determine whether these uses are appropriate in residential districts. The Health General article of Maryland Code 8-406 mandates that small halfway houses of 4 to 8 individuals are permitted to locate in all residential zones. Further, large halfway houses of 9 to 16 individuals are deemed multifamily dwellings and are also permitted in zones of similar densities. In an attempt to get a better understanding of how the state handles these, Alyssa Sabeto, our Director of Planning and Zoning, contacted the Maryland Department of Health, Behavioral Health Services, and was put in touch with Alyssa Haley, who is the manager of Maryland's certification of recovery residences. Ms. Haley indicated that MDE passed along information related to a new law that goes into effect October the 1st that in part requires all recovery houses to be licensed, including existing unlicensed facilities, as licenses are currently voluntary. Staff at that time also asked for a list of licensed facilities, and MDE stated that due to health privacy laws, they could not share a detailed list, and that the list that is publicly available online does not contain individual recovery home addresses. The commissioners elevated this matter to our county delegation during the 2026 session of the General Assembly, and despite the delegation's efforts, no meaningful legislation came out of that session. The commissioners encourage you to stay involved and reach out to Senator Paul Quarterman, Delegate Bill Weibel, or Delegate Will Valentine. The commissioners and staff are committed to ensuring that halfway and recovery houses otherwise comply with applicable regulations and will continue working to protect health, safety, and welfare of citizens in Washington County. I also wanted to share a brief update on the county's data center moratorium. Staff has met to begin discussions on best practices, potential zoning, and policy changes. Additionally, staff, as well as some of our commissioners, have been attending seminars and conferences on this issue. I also want to clarify that Section 4-416 of the Maryland Annotated Code of Local Government specifically states that if an area is annexed to a municipality that has planning and zoning authority at the time of annexation, the municipality shall have exclusive jurisdiction over planning, subdivision control, and zoning in the area annexed. This means that the data center moratorium is applicable only to the unincorporated areas of Washington County. The incorporated areas of Washington County include the city of Hagerstown, the towns of Clear Spring, Hancock, Boonesboro, Keedysville, Smithsburg, Williamsport, Funkstown, and Sharpsburg. And zoning regulations in those areas are not governed by the Board of County Commissioners. This means that each of the municipalities may still consider data center development without any input or approvals from the commissioners, except as provided in 4-416B, as it relates to the development of annexed land where the land uses are substantially different than the authorized use previously classified by the county at the time of annexation. And lastly, I want to recap information related to the federal government's purchase of a warehouse on Wright Road in Williamsport, Maryland, and correct false information that has been circulating online. Washington County has made no approvals for and has not voted for this federal project. Washington County was not involved in the site selection process and was not consulted with or contacted by the federal government or the private entity involved in this sales transaction of an existing structure, or for any details related to the federal government's project approvals. Washington County government has no jurisdiction, and we are not the governing body that will be overseeing this project. Questions and correspondence for this Department of Homeland Security undertaking may be submitted to Immigration and Customs Enforcement environmental staff via ICE sustainability@ice.dhs.gov. Some additional updates include that officials with KVG reached out in July with a brief update. KVG and their subcontractors are abiding by the court-ordered injunction that is in place. KVG is installing security systems and temporary fencing to secure the building. Officials with KVG reached out again in August with another brief update. KVG is currently preparing the engineering study of utilities, which includes electric, water, and wastewater services as required by the Environmental Assessment Plan. And that's all of the information that is available at this time. And that's everything I have.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Forget-Me-Not months, September, October, November 2026 proclamation. We have folks here this morning. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning. My name's Ron Hoffman. I'm with the DAV Chapter 14, Washington County. September starts our Forget-Me-Not Drive. I want to thank you for the proclamation. We don't have as many stores this year. Apparently, there's been some scamming going on, so Lowe's will only take the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, so we lost those 2 stores, which was not good for us. We have a service dog that we support. That's $60,000 a year. His name is Ralph, named after the American Legion in Williamsport. We just purchased another dog, and his name is Tig, after his last name. Our drive starts September. We'll be around, so if you see us, stop by. We'll give you a forget-me-nots, a little purple paper flower. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Anybody want to do the proclamation?
Thank Disabled American Veterans Organization Forget-Me-Not Month, September, October, and November 2026. The Disabled American Veterans Organization offers free services to disabled veterans and their families in filing claims for government benefits, as well as the resolution of problems regarding employment, healthcare, and counseling. The Disabled American Veterans strives to respond to emergency needs arising in the family of any disabled veteran, and the community wishes to express a deep and continuing sense of gratitude to those disabled veterans who gave so much to protect and preserve our way of life. And whereas the Disabled American Veterans Organization has chosen September, October, and November 2026 for its annual Forget-Me-Not Drive in Washington County, and pledges that all contributions will be utilized for disabled veterans and their families in our community. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, Maryland, hereby recognize September, October, and November 2026 as Forget-Me-Not months, and encourage all citizens to join in and support those who have given so freely to protect and defend the rights and freedom of all of us. We're this 25th day of August. Thank you very much. You get to come up again. Thank you.
All right, everything all up here? Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, next on the agenda is a public hearing, but that is scheduled for
Not-
9:30, so I think we should take a 5-minute.
Well, we could, we have Earl here, if we could skip to,
So first up is True You Maryland Girls, Inc. of Washington County. And
Good
Earl?
morning. Earl Stoner, Health Officer, Washington County Health Department.
Hi, I'm Danielle Stahl, Deputy Director of Community Health Department.
And we are recommending that the board approve a contract with Girls, Inc. of Washington County in the amount of $200,000 to basically fund a True You Maryland Adolescent Health Program. This is actually, if I'm not mistaken, an option year? Just an option year or the full?
This is full.
This is full year. Yeah, full year from July 1st of '26 to June 30th of '27. Basically, we've done this a long time in conjunction with Girls Inc. and the Washington County Public Schools. It's a community-based program that has a curriculum and community interventions focused toward at-risk behaviors. And 100% of this funding is through the state Maryland Department of Health. No local funding involved.
Okay, questions, motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Next item is Sexual Risk Avoidance Education, SRAE, Girls Inc. of Washington County.
And this, again, is a different program, but again, focused at-risk avoidance and comprehensive abstinence sexual education with all sixth graders in the 8 public middle schools in Washington County. We're recommending that the board approve a contract with Girls Inc. in the amount of $64,327 to fund this program. And again, this is 100% funded through the Maryland Department of Health and no local funding.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. So, Earl, while you're here, anything else to come before us? Always good to
No.
see you.
It's always good to be here. Yeah, I don't really have anything.
Keep up the good work.
But thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'm going to ask for a motion to reconvene as the Washington County Board of County Commissioners.
Motion to reconvene.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 5-0. Thank you. We still have several minutes, about 3 minutes. We'll take a 3-minute recess until we have the public hearing. 2, public hearing. This is a request by organizations to be added to the board's community organizational funding list, 1-108. The purpose of this hearing is to hear public testimony concerning the matter. The procedure is as follows. We will first have staff introduce the matter. Next, the applicants in attendance will be given an opportunity to present their application, after which the hearing will be open for public comment and testimony. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 3 minutes to testify. Testimony shall be limited only to the topic of the public hearing. Testimony that is not relevant to the subject matter of the public hearing or that which is repetitive, disruptive, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the public hearing will not be tolerated. Unauthorized remarks, loud noises, whistles, yells, or similar disruptions from the gallery shall not be permitted. Anyone who fails to follow these rules forfeits their opportunity to testify and will be asked to return to their seat or leave the meeting. Once public comment has concluded, the hearing will close. There shall be no donating or pooling of time to allow any one person to speak longer than 3 minutes. The commissioners may then discuss the issue and may move to approve or deny one or more of the applicants or defer action to a later date for further consideration. Zachary Kiefer, County Attorney, would you please introduce the matter?
Thank you, President Barr. Zachary Kiefer, County Attorney.
Maria Kramer, Director of the Office of Grant Management.
Section 1108 of the Code of Public Local Laws of Washington County, Maryland authorizes the county commissioners to make annual contributions to the care, operations, maintenance, or capital expense of nonprofit organizations in Washington County. The county maintains a list of nonprofit organizations that are eligible to receive funds. This list is referred to as the 1108 list. Upon application by an organization and following a public hearing, the county commissioners may add organizations to the 1108 list. However, inclusion of a nonprofit organization on the 1108 list does not guarantee that the organization will receive funding from the board. Funding determinations are made through the Community Organization Funding Committee process and the county's budgetary process. The following organizations have submitted letters of request to be added to the 1108 list. They are the Literacy Council of Washington County, the South Prospect Street Porch Fest, Frozen Petals, Boonesboro Athletic Boosters, Gatekeepers Organization, Hancock Flag Football, Mark 923 Broken and Saved, Meredith Health Foundation, Music Instrument Collection, Spectrum Strong Foundation, Maryland Association of Social Services Board, and Franklin Fawn Helping the Needed. Following the public hearing, the board may move to approve inclusion of one or more organizations to the 1108 list, or may take the matter under advisement for action at a later date. Maria, did you have anything to add at this point?
Nothing to add right now, thank you.
Okay, applicants, when you hear your organization called, please come up to the podium to provide your testimony. And first up, we have Literacy Council of Washington County. Yes. He's coming up to the desk. Oh, I'm sorry. I gave him.
It's fine, the podium's fine.
Okay. I'm sorry, Dawn.
Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alan Bear,
Can you hear me?
and I'm a board member of the Literacy Council of Washington County. I'm here to briefly tell you about this great organization. We are a registered nonprofit organization that has helped serve our community for over 30 years. Through the dedication of volunteers and the commitment of its leadership, the Literacy Council has helped many people to improve their lives and their families here in Washington County. The organization focuses on two vital needs. First, it helps adults learn English, especially those whose native language is not English. Second, it supports adults who are working to pass the General Education Development Test, or GED. These services give people greater confidence, more opportunities for employment, and a stronger foundation for success. The Literacy Council works closely with the Western Maryland Consortium, Hagerstown Community College, and the Fletcher Community Library. English classes are held at the library, making them accessible and welcoming for adults in our area. This kind of partnership shows how community organizations can work together to meet real needs. One exciting new effort is the GOAL program, which stands for Gaining Objectives in Adult Learning. Developed in conjunction with the consortium and HCC, this program is designed to help adults achieve their high school diploma. Because so many adults still need this credential, classes will begin in September to help them reaching this goal. What is especially impressive is that this organization does so much with very limited staff. It has only one part-time employee, an executive director, yet it continues to make a meaningful difference here in Washington County. That speaks to the power of volunteers, community partnerships, and shared belief in the value of education. For 3 decades, the Literacy Council of Washington County has had positive impact on our county. It has opened doors with individuals, strengthened families, and contributed to the well needs of our community. I'm a board member, but I've also been a volunteer for 9 years, and I've seen firsthand the positive life changes that occur during while learning the challenging language of English, and also the doors that open when one can check the high school diploma box on an application for employment. In closing, the Literacy Council reminds us that literacy and education are not just academic goals, but are pathways to dignity, independence, and hope. I do want to invite each of you to a fundraiser that we are having at the Hub City Brewery on Wednesday, September 30th from 4 to 6. And I also have, if you wish to see it, our fiscal 2026 and 2027 budget to review, should you wish to see it. You'll see that we have a modest budget, but we do so much with what we have. Thank you for considering the Literacy Council of Washington County as a worthy request recipient of these funds.
Thank you, Mr. Bear.
Yes, sir. Do you have any questions? Okay.
Okay, next up is South Prospect Street Porch Fest.
Hi, my name is Deb Kepler. I have lived up on South Prospect Street for about 35 years, and I'm the lead organizer of Porch Fest, which is where musicians play on the front porches of, in our case, historic homes. So Porch Fest started back in 2006 in Ithaca, New York, and the idea spread across the United States and into Canada. And we've had Porch Fest up on Prospect Street since about 2013. It's been on and off. The residents had initially ponied up the money to pull it off, but as it grew, this past 3 years, we've really expanded it, and now the budget is up to like $8,000. So we became a nonprofit this year, and our mission statement is to support budding musicians who don't have anywhere else to a venue to play. This includes young people, older adults, anybody who wants to play can sign up. We're not very discriminatory. And also to foster community spirit, increase activity downtown, and to showcase history on South Prospect Street. So this past May, which is the 2026 event, we had 120 musicians playing for free along South Prospect Street from West Washington all the way down to the city park. This included 2 18-piece big band jazz ensembles, including the Williamsport Community Jazz Band. It was the first for them. We built a stage out of pallets just for them. And this was a big hit. This stage was a big hit. And next year we're planning to have a young performers stage where we can feature preteen and children who can play instruments or sing. And this will require an additional stage and PA equipment, of course. In addition to the free 6 hours of free music, there's 5 food trucks and a center stage and a beer garden, and there's also a Play Me street piano where you can just walk along and sit down and play if you know how. And Porch Fest just keeps growing, and we've gotten city events grants the past 3 years, and we've started raising money. We've raised about $5,000 the past every year in the past 3 years from local businesses and other smaller organizations interested in the arts. So we're hoping that Porch Fest will be considered for the 108 list going forward. I'm available for taking any questions if needed at a later date. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kepler. Next up is Frozen Petals, Inc.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Athens Austin. I'm the CEO and founder of Frozen Petals, Inc. It's a nonprofit 501c3 organization located headquartered here in Hagerstown, Maryland. Our mission is to provide shelter and long-term stability for women transitioning through or at risk of domestic violence. With Washington County currently having 2 to 3 platforms that offer those services and resources, Frozen Petals bridges that gap with more long-term stability and support. We plan to do this by providing case support, core support programs through a 2-phase plan. Phase 1 would be the 90-day stabilization. This will be crisis intake, immediate shelter, discrete location, case assessment, and legal advocacy. The Phase 2 is the Sustainable Independence Plan. This is what bridges the temporary housing through to a long-term self-sufficiency through housing support, mental health services, case management, workforce development, and furthering education. As of right now, Frozen Petals, Inc. has been recognized as a 510c3 organization since of June 2025. We are governed by an adopted board of directors with corporate bylaws and in federal compliance with good standing. We are actively communicating with potential partnerships with other organizations and actively pursuing a 90-day transitional site here in Washington County, Maryland. As a representation for Frozen Petals, we respectfully request that the board approves Frozen Petals, Inc. for inclusion on the Washington County 1-108 list of recognized nonprofit organizations so that we may continue building local partnerships and serving the residents of this county. In closing, I would like to thank the board for your time and consideration, and I'm open if there are any questions for me.
Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Boonesboro Athletic Boosters. No one here from Boonesboro Athletic Boosters. Okay, next up is Gatekeepers. We have anyone here from Gatekeepers this morning?
All right, guys. Hello. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Julia Smoot, and I am the Operations Director at Gatekeepers, located here in Washington County. I'm here today to ask you to consider Gatekeepers as an approved nonprofit eligible to receive funding. Gatekeepers is a Washington County organization working every day with people who are incarcerated or recently released or trying to rebuild lives after incarceration, after being involved with the criminal justice system. Gatekeepers is unique in the fact that we don't wait for someone to be released and hope that they get connected to our resource. We actually start the relationship with them before they come home. Our staff provides programming inside correctional facilities, working with men and women in the Washington County Detention Center and the Day Reporting Center. We also connect people returning to our community with employment, identification, transportation, education, treatment, housing resources, mentorship, and other services they need to become stable. Every Saturday, right here in downtown Hagerstown, we hold a resource club averaging 80 to 100 attendees, bringing together returning citizens, community organizations, employers, treatment providers, government agencies, volunteers, and everyday people. And ultimately, this work here is more than an individual receiving services. When someone comes home from incarceration and finds employment instead of returning to crime, Washington County benefits. Washington County's recidivism rate currently resides above 23%, whereas those involved with Gatekeepers program is currently at less than 7%. When a parent becomes stable and reconnects, it builds our community. When someone becomes a taxpayer instead of returning to incarceration, our community benefits. Gatekeepers has spent more than a decade building this model with more than 27,000 program completions through our work. There are so many people that are still going to be coming home to Washington County that deserve the opportunity to become employees, parents, homeowners, neighbors, mentors, and contributing members to Washington County. Gatekeepers wants to make that happen. I thank you for your consideration and listening to my request today.
Thank you. Next up is Meritus Health Foundation.
Good morning. I'm Jordy Newman. I'm the Executive Director of the Meritus Health Foundation. Thank you for this opportunity today. The mission of the Meritus Health Foundation is to support Meritus Health, Inc. and all its subsidiaries, which includes Meritus Medical Center, Meritus School of Osteopathic Medicine, and Brook Lane. Funding from grants supports our community health programs, which includes emergency medical transportation, the food pharmacy, care callers, free breast exams for cancer patients. Everything we do benefits the community. And I wanted to point out that any sponsorships you see for other organizations locally that say Meritus Health comes from Meritus Health, Inc. and not from the Meritus Health Foundation. We are a separate 501c3 and we do not provide any grants to outside organizations. If there are not any questions, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gordy. Next up is Music Instrument Collection.
Good morning. My name is Brenda Bush, and I am the president and the founder of the Music Instrument Collection, Inc. It is known as the MIC program. I'm going to give you just a little history how this got started. It is in memory of my late husband, Laird Bush. During his life, we were involved in the Western Maryland Blues Fest, and we chaired and started the Wind Down Friday events at the Maryland Theater. I knew I wanted to fulfill our dream of supporting music in schools by collecting used band instruments to recycle and redistribute to students who couldn't obtain them on their own. So, in 2023, with my co-chair, musician Mike Lushball, and many other local musicians, we've hosted events and collected donations and instruments, and we became a 501c3 nonprofit in April of 2025. Within these 3 years, we have collected over 100 instruments donated by former high school band students. To date, we have repaired, recycled, and redistributed close to 50 of them to local music programs. We store them at the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts, and we coordinate the distribution to the Music and Arts program to Washington County schools. The music teachers recognize the student who would benefit from our program and request the instrument. Grant money would help refurbish more instruments for distribution. Our board has a business plan with a focus of 3 goals. Number 1, collect the instruments and recycle them to students who cannot obtain them. Number 2, donate the unfixable instruments to art programs for recycled art. And number 3, start a scholarship program. We feel we can give these instruments to students, but some of them might need a little bit of support with private lessons. We've proven this program will be embraced by former band members and people in our community who want to support music in the schools. So in conclusion, I want to thank you for your consideration and thank you for the opportunity for this growth. We have a tagline, together we can change a student's life through music. Thank you, and if anybody has any questions, I'll answer them.
Not hearing any. Thanks,
Thank
Brenda.
you.
Next up is the Maryland Association of Social Services Board.
Hello, my name is Christina McCauley, and I am a social worker. I'm here to represent the Maryland Social Services Board, who represents the Washington County Family Center and the Safe Place Child Advocacy Center. Many of you have taken the opportunity to tour both facilities when we've invited you. The Washington County Family Center supports pregnant individuals and parents of children 0 to 4 so that those parents can continue their education. We work in partnership with the Washington County Public Schools, Hagerstown Community College, and the Literacy Board. Through this effort, we hope to reduce poverty in Washington County by helping parents support themselves and their children. In addition, we provide formal and informal support in hopes of reducing child abuse and neglect before it occurs. The Child Advocacy Center here in Washington County provides direct services to children and families who have experienced sexual abuse, major physical abuse, and child fatalities. At our facility, we offer social services, therapeutic services. We work in partnership with law enforcement and the state's attorney's office. If you have any questions about either of these facilities or the work that we do there, I'd be happy to answer that.
Hearing none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and we have Franklin Fawn Helping the Needed.
Hi, I'm Angela, and I am the COO of Franklin Fawn Helping the Needed. That is Franklin Fawn himself. However, I'm going to speak in regards to our 501c3. So we were founded in February of 2025. Of course, like I said, we are a recognized 501c. We were established basically according to our previous story, our own history, our lives, our family, and stuff like that. So we decided to partner together last year to come up with this foundation in regards to establishing and providing food assistance, clothing support, essential resources, and compassionate outreach to individuals and families experiencing financial hardship within Washington County. Since last year, we have expanded our outreach, and we have now connected with other organizations in Annapolis, Baltimore area, and we are still getting to know some other nonprofits and connecting. We have conducted our services from our personal lives, from friends and family, our volunteers, etc. And we are looking to establish a food pantry in the future. Again, we want to continue with providing natural resources, providing housing assistance. In the future, we do look to providing scholarship opportunities for students in need, building strategic partnerships with other churches, which we have currently built a foundation with a local church here in the county, businesses and other community organizations. We do strive to continue to expand our services within different areas of Maryland, and we just want to be able to put smiles on people's faces and build a better life and a better future for students, children, families, our poor and needy community, just to be able to get people off the street, provide housing, and so on and so forth. If you guys would like, anybody can visit us. We can make further arrangements. You can visit our website, etc. And we look forward to meeting you guys and speaking later in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our list of applicants this morning. With that, we will now open the hearing for public comment. Please come forward as your name is called. First on the list is Mr. Sean Porter.
All right, so you guys are here to give away millions of taxpayer dollars to hand-picked charities that the political class like. I've got a novel suggestion for you, John Barr, Jeff Klein. Instead of giving away millions of dollars from people who work at McDonald's, Burger King, construction workers, etc., to nonprofits, why don't you just give us back our money? Nobody wants to donate to the Clinton Global Initiative or any other such charities that just launder money back to corrupt politicians like Jeff Klein and John Barr. Nobody wants to donate money to whatever this porch party is. You guys literally had someone in here asking for money to throw a party. How about you just give us back our money? Our property taxes have doubled and tripled in some cases. Our assessments have gone up. It's been really difficult under Westmore. The idea that we had someone from the state Department of Social Services come in here and ask for charitable contributions to the state, the very state that takes our money from us, they want even more money in the form of county revenue to charities here in the county that are run by the state. Now, I don't understand why Social Services doesn't get their money from Annapolis, but for Social Services to come in here and say we need yet more money, instead of giving to charities or giving back to the citizens who are being overtaxed here in Washington County, we want you to give the money to the state of Maryland and Governor Wes Moore. That's unacceptable. As a citizen, I don't agree with any of these nonprofits or charities getting my money. It's a forced charitable contribution at the hands of the government, decided by bureaucrats and politicians that no one here personally likes, like Jeff Klein and John Barr, total faggots. Anyhow, I don't believe that you should be taking our money. I don't believe that you should then be handing that money over to people to throw parties or to have nonprofit organizations in the community. When you could just let the community keep its own damn money, then they won't need shelters. They won't need soup kitchens because they can afford their own food if you don't take 40% of somebody's income and raise their property taxes by 200 to 300% in a single year. I think it's completely unacceptable that you guys think, hey, we've got this money, we're just going to start giving it away. You have an entire department of grants here in Washington County to just give away taxpayer dollars while we're in the deficit, what, $10, $20 million we owe in debt? Maybe pay that down, maybe give us back some of our money. In conclusion, I am highly offended, and I think the only way I can express how offended I am is to offend you in kind by artistically expressing my deep, heartfelt political belief about you, John Barr and Jeff Klein. So that is my butt, and that is as offensive as the idea of the government taking money out of my paycheck and my property taxes and giving it to nonprofits.
Okay, Mr. Porter, you're finished. Thank you.
Political contributions to fuckers like you. Thank you.
Next up is Stephen McDonough. Mr. McDonough's not here. Okay, third on the list is Gretchen Graves. Is Gretchen here?
Good morning. I am here to comment on the proposed list of additions to the 108 list. Two of the applicants are vital to our community. The Literacy Council of Washington County, Inc. Lessons learned through the council enable parents to communicate with organizations providing food and basic necessities. It also enables them to communicate their rights, their children's rights, and the rights of their loved ones to law enforcement and the court systems, helping to ensure the legal system is followed. Many community members are offering help and support to parents of children. However, there is often a language gap. The Literacy Council helps close that gap by providing free, personalized English language instruction to non-English speaking adults in the county. The second group that is greatly needed is the Meritus Health Foundation. Already, families have had trouble getting medical care for their children after the main breadwinner of their family is detained. This foundation cares about everyone, not just those with money or health insurance. The children who have lost a parent to detention are under considerable stress and fear. Proper medical care is critical to keeping them healthy. In light of your resolution in February of this year to fully support DHS and ICE, I am sure you are aware that families in Washington County have had caregivers and breadwinners detained and deported, leaving behind children who still need attention and care. You have taken a position supporting ICE detention in our community, but I hope you will not also allow the children these detentions affect to become homeless, go hungry, or suffer without medical care. I hope you will also fully support the organizations reducing the harm you have all caused these children. Basic human decency acknowledges the cost these children face due to your choice to fully support the detention and deportation of their parents. In fact, the protesters outside today are collecting food and diapers for the children of families already affected by ICE detentions in our county. These children can become homeless, ill, or hungry without these
I'm sorry.
organizations and volunteers.
Your time
Please
is up,
add the
ma'am.
Meredith Health
Please.
Foundation and the Literacy Council of Washington County to the 108 list. We deserve better.
Ma'am, I'm gonna
Vote
ask
the
you to
Board of
stop.
County Commissioners out, Washington County. Thank you.
Okay, this concludes the public comment portion of the hearing. Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff?
I do. Would you explain how this committee is formed, that the commissioners have we do not directly select it? Would you explain that process? and
Sure,
how they come to
and
that conclusion?
thank you for
their
that.
boards?
And
So
where the funds come from?
the funding is through the county budget, but the individuals who make the determinations and review the applications are volunteers. They are not county commissioners who do not make the actual recommendations for the funding. It's a committee of 5 who review as many as 60 applications each. They review them, they discuss them, they look at past performance of each organization, they review the financial statements, the 990s, they take time and care for the recommendations that they do make, when the organizations submit an application, it takes them an entire month to look at everyone and make a review of that. We also, as a grant department, will make on-site visits to the organizations. We require each of the organizations to submit a grant report to be sure that the funding that is provided to each organization is used in accordance with the grant application. Not only the report, but the backup detail and documentation is required. And again, the 5 committee members make the recommendations, and then the grant office monitors it to ensure that the funds are used in the manner in which they were and to protect the assets of the county. I also would like to invite people to take a minute to look at the 108 list and the organizations that are on there. It's an incredibly diverse list of organizations that do important work in the county and, in crisis and times of need. I mean, the Red Cross is on there, the Salvation Army is on there, the Boys and Girls. I mean, there's a lot of great organizations that do work that make the wheels turn in this community for families and children and other organizations that they support.
Okay, thank you.
About how many organizations are on that list?
I would say currently as we sit here, there are, I should have brought the list. My spidey brain wants to say about 113. In my first year here, we did go through the entire list. We made sure every organization that was currently on it is still in good standing with the state, that there wasn't anybody that was forfeited, there wasn't any organizations that are closed up, and I think there were 24 organizations that we did take off the list for that reason. So, one of the things I do is anytime any organization comes to the county for funds, that's the first thing I do. I look them up on SSTAT, I look up their nonprofit status, we move forward from there, and we will continue to do that moving forward to be sure that the organizations are still, functioning, and that's one of the things that I've taken over within my department to make sure we do that.
And for people that are on the list, I mean, are they almost guaranteed to get money?
No. Yeah, they're not guaranteed to get money. The list just gives these organizations the opportunity to apply for the community organization funding money that comes through the county government budget. So the strategy screen of going through the legal office to be sure that they have everything that they need prior to application. Like I said, last year we had, I think it was 60 organizations that applied of everybody on the list, and of those, not everyone was recommended for funding either. So it is a pretty robust process, and we put additional measures in place to ensure that the money was being used according to how it was intended to be used.
And I guess a lot of this money was already set aside in the budget for this year. That's already
Correct.
passed. How much money is approximately set aside for?
It's 1.3 million, and we get probably over $3 million worth of asks for that money. So right off the bat, we're having to cut it down. The other thing is a lot of these organizations that are on the 108 list, they're small community organizations that work with no paid staff. I mean, you heard the Literacy Council say they have one part-time employee. So there are a lot of them are being run by volunteers as well. So the funding is going directly to making sure the programming and the services and the resources are getting out to the community members.
And is this the same list that we use for the gaming money that goes to the nonprofits? I know half of it goes to the.
No, the gaming is different. They don't have to be on the 108 list for gaming, and the gaming is regulated by the state because it is state funding money. So there are some organizations that can be on the 108 list that cannot get gaming funds, religious organizations, because it's the state can't apply through the gaming funding. So it's a little bit different, but you will see a lot of similar organizations that apply for both. And certainly, when they do it, they can take into account how much other funding, they do ask, where do you get other funding? How do you support your other funding? That kind of thing. How do you use it? So part of the application, they have to disclose all funding that they're getting from other sources and organizations to make sure that they're not asking for a grant from the same thing they asked for somebody else for and double dipping.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, well, double dipping is not encouraged.
Maria,
Yes.
over here.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. So every organization that is on our 108 list, do they annually file 990s, or is that not correct?
If they're under a certain threshold, they're not required to file a 990, but they still have to provide us a financial document.
Okay.
But we do check everybody's 501c status and their SSTAT. And actually, what we did put in place since I've been here is that onus of making sure your organization has everything should be on the organization who's applying. So we put the application process such that they have to provide us everything up front. You have to show us your current SSTAT status. You have to provide everything, not us checking on you. And beginning in the next year, we're moving to an online platform through Submittable, which will require them not to be able to move even to the next step. If they don't have an EIN number, they can't get to the next step to even apply for it. And then their application won't be reviewed if they don't upload all of the required documents, including a 990 or a financial statement, their 501c3 charitable letter, their letters of support from other collaborating organizations. So we're continuing to move the process into the current time, and we should be able, most applications should be online at this point in time, and it provides those places where our staff can make sure things aren't slipping through the cracks.
Thank you.
Maria, I
Yes, sir.
had one just quick question.
Sure.
I think you covered it a little bit. The ones that are on the list or are wanting to be on the list, you said that is one of the main criteria is a lot of them are volunteers, we get that. But there is obviously some that the board or somebody gets paid to directors.
Yeah, many of the nonprofit organizations in the community have boards, and
Do we take into consideration when we award money, how many people are getting paid and what their salaries are?
I would say in the 2 years that I've been through the last 2 rounds, they ask to look at the 990 and ask questions about it. Also, the percentage of money for any organizations that's being used toward admin, you can look right on the line of a 990 and figure out that percentage. So ones who have a super high percentage and anybody asking for more than what we deem as admin costs, they're not, I mean.
So you do take that into heavy consideration, yeah.
Absolutely, and me coming from the nonprofit world previously, I know what was expected in terms of a grant. So I know that, if you have 25 to 30% going out in an admin cost, that means 25 to 30 cents of every dollar we're giving you is going directly to some salary or support something. So that is very much looked at with the crew, and I would say the volunteers for both community organization funding and gaming funding do an excellent job, and that comes up each time with new commissioner terms. There's new people that come onto the community organization funding for their terms as well. Absolutely.
Okay, other questions? Okay. Public hearing is now concluded, and we now move on to the deliberation. Commissioners, your thoughts, comments?
Motion to approve the list.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of adding the 9. Is it a total of 9 to the list?
I had a question on one of them.
Okay.
Sorry, just for clarification, Commissioner Parrott, there were 9 that were on the list to speak today. There are 12 organizations total that I read off at the beginning.
Okay.
Sorry, just to clarify.
Thanks for the clarification.
Sorry.
Okay.
Could someone describe what the MASSB Foundation does in more detail?
I can.
Great, thanks.
Okay.
So, as stated earlier, they are a supporting body of the health department, or
Social services?
social services, I'm sorry, as social services. Because they're social services, they, as a grouping, cannot apply for any funding at all. Every social services department in the state of Maryland has their own individual local MASSB. It's their nonprofit wing of social services to funding. Every year, funding for these programs continues to decrease. The state decreases what they're giving them, particularly for the Family Center and some of these. Everyone has one though, so it's local. This one's local to this community. Washington County has one, Frederick County has one, Allegheny, they all have one. So it's its own separate 501c3. I wouldn't say it's exactly similar to Meritus, but similar. They have a separate 501c that can support their organization or support initiatives, and that's what it is. Does that clarify for you?
I guess it does to a degree. The salaries are paid for by the state, I'm guessing, because it's social services. And then the money that we would give to them through this program would go through to specific programs? Is that?
Yes.
And would it help pay for salaries as well?
I would say that each application that comes through, whether it's community organization funding or gaming, provides a budget for what they're planning on spending the money on. And when they report out to us in a grant report, it has to match that, or we will ask them for the dollars back if it doesn't match what they asked for. So it's clearly looked at what the salaries are for. If the salary is directly to run a program that they're asking to run through that organization and not for the admin salaries, those are more likely to be the funded initiatives.
So these aren't actually applications for funding right now. This is simply approval to add them to the list to give them the opportunity to apply for funding. We're not approving any funding today.
Correct. But this is the first time they've come before this board to ask to be on this list, is that right?
Correct.
So why is it different this year than the previous years? You said like other counties have.
Yeah, I can't answer that, as same with any of these other organizations on here that have been, many of these organizations that are asking today have been in existence for years and haven't come in front of us for the 108 list. What happens is if they ask the county for funding and they want to apply for a grant we have, they can't apply for the community organization funding unless they've been checked through this list. But then the list has, after that, there are certainly strategy screens. Everybody doesn't just get funded because they're on the list.
Correct.
So many of them, like the Literacy Council, they said they've been in existence for, let me see, I wrote that down, 30-plus years, and they've not asked to be on the list. The list has been around for 30-plus years, pretty long. So, I mean, I would say that funding is getting tighter for everybody to try, and so they're looking for any opportunities to apply for any funding streams that are available, particularly if they do the work in Washington County. The funding's coming through the county.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? I think we have a motion and a second on the floor. Ready to vote? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 5-0. Very good.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day,
you.
guys.
Next item, tab number 5, Department of Water Quality, 2006 International VACCON.
Good morning, Commissioners. David Mason, Interim Director, Environmental Management. This morning I'm here for this first item to move to allow the Department of Water Quality to retain the 2006 International VACCON vacuum truck. On July 29th of last year, you approved the purchase of a new one with the caveat that the old one would be sold on GovDeals. Staff has tried on 3 separate occasions to sell it. It has never met reserve. Reserve was decreased each time they sold it or tried to sell it. So meanwhile, while it was trying to be sold, they've had to put it back into action for various reasons. Either they had 2 breaks where they needed 2 pieces of equipment. The new VACCON might have been down for maintenance or some other repairs. So staff has asked that instead of trying to sell it, we retain it as a backup or a second piece of equipment. Any other questions?
No, I probably think it's more valuable as a backup than getting 15 or 20,000 for it. It might save you from coming in and asking for another new one.
Right, exactly.
I'd motion to approve it.
Okay. Motion, was that a second? Okay. Motion is second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, under budget transfer for the Department of Solid Waste for the vehicle equipment replacement.
Again, David Mason, Interim Director, Department of Environmental Management. Just ask for a motion to approve a budget adjustment for the Solid Waste Department. We sold 2 pieces of equipment on GovDeals, a water truck which sold for $17,201 and a John Deere motor grader sold for $10,000. We're just asking if this money be moved so we can purchase future equipment.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 5-0. Thank you. Next item under tab 7, intergovernmental cooperative purchase 26-0346, lease 1, new 2026 Caterpillar D7 dozer.
Again, David Mason, Interim Director, Environmental Management. So this purchase or lease is for the Department of Solid Waste, 1 new Caterpillar D7 dozer through Carter Machinery of Baltimore, Maryland. Total cost is $696,079.55.
900, is it 969,000?
$969,000.
Okay.
This will be purchased through the Sourcewell contract, which through the Code of Public Laws allows us to piggyback onto these types of contracts. We will be trading in a 2008 Caterpillar D6 with 18,795 hours, which meets our standard replacement policy for equipment. And the cost of the trade-in is reflected in the price of the new dozer.
I guess I have a question. On the trade-in, is it working right now?
Yes, it has some issues, but given its age, but yes, it's still working. We will still use it on a regular basis.
And instead of leasing, have you considered buying?
We've looked into it, but our funds do not allow us to buy.
This is an enterprise fund, so it is required to be self-supporting in order to make sure that it's self-supporting when they don't have funds available in their fund balance. We found that leasing is the best option, and it also helps satisfy some of the matching principles associated with accounting to make sure that the expense for the actual cost of the capital is in the period in which the is being used.
It sounds like we owned it before, though. Is that correct?
The D6, I believe we leased it and then kept it after the lease was completed. So we purchased it after the lease.
Purchased it after the lease.
Which is, we can do that with some equipment. Other equipment, by the time we're done with it, it's worn out. We just need to trade it again.
Right.
With the dozers, we can keep them for, sometimes for a longer than the 5 year.
How many of these D7s do we have?
This will be the second D7. We have another D8 that we use on a regular basis.
And they work at the top?
Yes, yes. The 6 is just a little undersized for the operation. So we moved to 7. The 8 was a little bit too big, but the 7 seemed to be the right size for our operation.
And the current vehicle is a D7, right?
Well, the one we're trading in is a D6. We have another D7 that we purchased, or at least, I believe it was 2 years ago.
Okay. I guess my concern with leasing in general is that we're going to pay a whole lot more leasing a vehicle than if we own the vehicle over time. I mean, I know at front it's an upfront cost, which maybe we should be financing that cost through the enterprise fund and considering a different accounting method. Would that be an option?
Well, the question I would have on that would be, does the lease cover anything more in repairs than what a purchase would cover?
The warranty is the same.
Well, okay.
So whether you lease it or you purchase it. To answer your question, Commissioner, we can look into other options, but
The interest rate is 4.99%. If we were to, we can't use bond financing to purchase equipment, so that wouldn't be an option. Another option would be some sort of bank note or bank lien. It's not best practice for the general fund to loan money to an enterprise fund. It would look poorly on our bond ratings. So it makes sense for the enterprise fund to use a lease purchase and/or bank financing. And in this case, we're using a lease purchase. And the interest rate is 4.99%.
So if we did bank funding, it would be 4.99%. I would argue we're going to lose a whole lot more by leasing than we would by purchasing it at 4.99%.
They don't have money in their reserves to purchase it.
Well, and the leases are set up that they're called a dollar buyback lease, so at the end of the lease, we can purchase it for $1. So if we would go through a more traditional lease where we get a lower cost, but then the end of term buyout would be a significant amount more. So this is almost set up as if we're buying it over the course of 5 years.
Right. So this is a capital lease, it's not an operating lease.
Correct.
Okay, so there is an option to buy it at the end for $1.
Yes, yes. We can only, in my understanding, we can only do the buyout, the dollar buyout at the end of the contract term. So that's what we do.
Okay.
We really don't have a whole lot of options when it comes to leasing.
And so how long is the lease period?
5 years.
So then after 5 years, and then how long would we probably keep it?
That all depends on how much we use. I mean, it's going to get used, but if this becomes more of a reserve machine or maybe just used on side slopes, normally we put 2,000 hours a year on if it's used every single day.
How many a year?
About 2,000 hours a year. Okay.
So we'll use it a minimum of 10 years, and the piece of equipment that they're replacing is 18 years old, so it'll be somewhere between 10 and 20 years.
We usually try to rotate equipment through 10 years. Like, when we buy a new piece, we use that one as the primary piece, and then it will become a backup when we purchase a new one. So, yes, we usually try to get 10 years out of it. We've gotten more out of some equipment, but it just depends on, you know how it goes. You could get a really great one that runs forever, or you get a, one that struggles a little bit and we have to get rid of it sooner. But, we try to use the equipment as long as we possibly can, just because of the expense of the equipment. I mean, you're talking $1 million for one piece of equipment, I mean, yeah, we can't afford to just throw them out whenever we get tired of using them. I mean, we use them till they die.
So is that the total, sorry?
So that's 10,000 hours in 5 years, and the one we're getting rid of has almost 19,000 hours on it.
That one has been in reserve for a few years now.
Okay.
And we've also replaced the engine and transmission in it. I mean, we've put a lot of money in that D6.
So what will we do with the old one? Oh, we're going to trade it in.
We're going to
with
trade
new
this one in, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And that has a full-year warranty. Everything's covered, right?
I believe it's more than a year. I think it's a 5-year warranty.
Okay.
I think it's 5 years for certain things, maybe a year for everything, but your powertrain might be a little more.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I feel a lot more comfortable knowing that we're going to be able to buy it for $1 at the end of the lease. So it's basically.
It's almost like a 5-year
Yeah.
purchase.
Right, okay.
Okay, we're ready to,
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second.
we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab 8 is an intergovernmental cooperative purchase 26-0345. Lease one new John Deere 744 tier wheel loader and lease for one new John Deere 410P wheel loader backhoe.
All right, this is the last one for this morning, I promise. Again, similar to what we were doing before, I have to amend this ARF though. We've had a little change in the pricing on the 410 wheel loader backhoe. So we're gonna eliminate this one from this ARF. We're just gonna focus on the 744 wheel loader. Again, this is another Sourcewell lease through John Deere, James River Equipment, Stevenson, Virginia. The purchase price, sorry, I only give a total.
So
Let me back up here. The loader should be,
$453,919.60
yes.
is the purchase price.
Yes, and again,
The interest rate is also 4.99%, making the total contract $524,075.03.
correct. And this is also a dollar buyback lease, like we talked about before.
And we'll bring back the 410P wheel loader at a later date, once they correct the numbers on that quote.
And the old 744 will be traded in for the purchase of the new one.
And how old's the old one?
It is a 2002 John Deere 744H with 10,789 hours.
Okay. If we didn't trade it in, how long do you think that one could go?
I mean, we could probably keep it for a few years. I mean, we've started to have some issues with it based on age. You get some rotting hydraulic lines and whatnot.
Right.
But we really don't have a use for a fourth wheel loader because we have a 624, a 544, and this is a larger one at a 744 that we use on a regular but limited basis. So if we're moving large amounts of stone or mulch or compost, we'll pull this one into action. So this, we will use it on a regular basis, but it's more of a specialized piece of equipment. We'll use the other two smaller ones on if we wanted to keep it, we could, but we really don't have any reason to really keep a fourth one. And then that just takes off, insurance costs, gets it off the.
Well, I guess what I was thinking is instead of leasing a new one now, could we delay it a couple of years?
I think with the issues we're having with this one, it's probably time to get a new one. Because like I said, this one is over 20 years old.
It's a 1989.
Yeah. That's the backhoe.
Oh, that's the backhoe.
The
I apologize.
744 is
It's 2002.
So we are having some issues with it. So that's why we decided to go ahead and get one now.
So the recommended motion would need to be amended to remove one new John Deere 410 wheel loader backhoe, and the amount would change from $743,000 to $524,075.03. Dawn will need that for your minutes.
Okay, any other discussion?
I'd motion to approve it as stated by County Administrator.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second to approve as amended and described in detail. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same
I'm
sign.
going to oppose on that one.
Okay.
And just to explain my vote, I'm comfortable with the dollar buyback at the end. That's good. I encourage you all to do that. I'm just thinking we could probably get a few more years out of this one before we need to replace it, but thanks.
Very good. Next item is tab number 9, sole source procurement, PUR 1843 for one drug analyzer. Good morning, Sheriff.
Sheriff Brian Albert.
Sergeant Clayton Stonemar.
So the recommendation is to move to authorize a sole source procurement for one drug analyzer for the Narcotics Task Force and the Sheriff's Office in the amount of $140,484.18 from Agilient from Wilmington, Delaware. We currently share the cost with the city for the crime lab here in Hagerstown City. And the funds that would be used for this are contraband funds, which is what we seize from the drug seizures in the county. And have anything to add? Yes, sir. Okay. Have any questions?
Motion to approve.
Yeah, I do have a question.
Second for the question.
Is this available to our communities, Hancock, Boonesboro?
Yes.
Yes.
It's available. Hancock, Boonesboro, and Smithsburg Police Departments, those municipalities all use the Hagerstown Crime Lab.
Oh, they do now?
For their evidence.
But they will
yes.
be able to utilize this also?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is in addition to one that we have. Currently, Sergeant Stoudemire can talk to this probably a little more intelligently. We're 45 days to get evidence back. It's just it's a process. It's not like the 80s crime shows where you dip your finger in, hey, that's cocaine or that's PCP. Can't do that anymore. And so it's a process for the crime technicians to get that back to us. And would you say it's 45 days unless we really rush it for a case? If we know there's a case coming up, Hagerstown, they'll move it to the front of the analyst line. But it does take sometimes drugs might have to set in there for 72 hours to get analyzed correctly. Mm-hmm. It just depends on the amount and the content.
Do you have any expectation for how long it will last?
I think the current one's about 6 years old, and 10 to 15 years we usually get out of them, because they're always updating with the new substances that are hitting the streets. So, but I think that's a software update now that can be updated.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks. A quick question. So will we keep the old one as well?
Yes, the old one will be. It'll give us 2, so it should expedite analyzing drugs for the municipalities in the city and the county.
Oh, that's great. So instead of 45 days, it might shrink it to 30 days.
Hopefully, yes. And we've added the city has added a lab technician there, so that's helped also.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, ready to vote? We have a motion and a second? We do? Okay, all in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item is under tab 10, sole source procurement, PUR 1844, annual maintenance agreement for Hamilton ventilators for the Division of Emergency Services.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Chisholm, Deputy Director for Emergency Services. Recommended motion is move to award a 5-year contract for Hamilton ventilators for the Division of Emergency Services to Hamilton Medical of Reno, Nevada for the amount of $59,625 based on its proposal dated July 10th, 2026. The ventilator is a complicated piece of medical equipment that allows us to provide consistent breaths to a non-breathing patient in the pre-hospital setting. Like other complicated pieces of medical equipment, these require annual biomedical certification, which this contract allows us to do. The contract also covers needed repairs, software updates. It is on site unless it can't be, and then it'll cover all shipping and handling, alleviating that cost for us. Department of Emergency Services wishes to apply section 1-106.2A1 and 2 of the Code of Local Public Laws of Washington County, Maryland to the procurement requested. These sections state that a sole source procurement is authorized and permissible when, 1, only one source exists that meets the county requirements, and 2, the compatibility of the accessories, equipment, and replacement parts is paramount. This request requires the approval of 4 of the 5 county commissioners in order to proceed with a sole source procurement. If approved, the following remaining steps of the process will occur as outlined by law. 1, not more than 10 days after the execution and approval of the contract under this section, the procurement agency shall publish notice of an award in the newspaper of general circulation in the county. And 2, an appropriate record of the sole source procurement shall be maintained as required. Fiscal impact funds are available in the department's operating budget 51500010520 for the amount of $11,925. That's billed annually, and that price is locked in for 5 years. Concurrences from the Division Director, Dave Hayes, Randy Kettner from the Office of Procurement.
Hey, just a curious question. Do we have more than one of these?
We have 5 of those in the county right now.
That was the question. How do you get it to where you need it quick enough? So you got 5.
We have 5, yes, sir.
Is this pretty standard throughout the tri-state area, this ventilator?
Everybody has their own version of a ventilator. We chose the Hamilton for its functionality.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maryland State Police, are they using Hamiltons?
They are switching to them, yes.
Are they? Okay.
By knowledge.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second for approval as submitted. All in favor?
I have a question, sorry.
Yep. I'm sorry.
How many are we buying?
We're not buying, sir. We already have purchased those. This is the annual maintenance agreement for each of the ventilators that we have.
Oh, so this is for the 5 that we have right now?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, ready to vote? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Next item under tab 11 is bid award PUR 1810 Regional Park Trail Bridge.
Good morning, Andrew Eshelman, Director of Public Works. I'm seeking a motion to award the contract for the Regional Park Trail Bridge to the responsible company Creative Protrusions Incorporated of Allen Bank, Pennsylvania, with the lowest total lump sum bid amount of $51,190. The work under this contract includes designing, manufacturing, and delivery of a fiber reinforced polymer FRP prefabricated bridge for the Regional Park Trail project. In this case, the bridge is going to be a truss bridge designed to carry pedestrian, bicycle, ATV, golf cart, and up to a single H5 emergency vehicle or pickup truck. The project was advertised on the UNA, the county's online bidding website, and the state's e-Maryland Marketplace Advantage website. 18 persons or companies registered and downloaded the bid document. 1 bid was received. A little bit about this project. The prefabricated 25-foot bridge is part of a larger upcoming 1.85-mile regional park multi-purpose trail project. In this case, procuring the bridge separately will allow its design, fabrication, and construction shop drawings to be completed in advance of advertising the trail construction contract. This will provide greater cost and schedule predictability for the trail contractor. It eliminates their markups associated with the bridge procurement and will reduce the overall project lead time. The bridge is anticipated to be installed during the early phase of the trail construction, so advanced procurement is beneficial to maintaining the project schedule. In this case, if you're not familiar, why fiberglass? In this case, the fiberglass and composite decking is preferred. It's a durable, lightweight material that allows it to be transported and installed at the crossing with minimal heavy equipment, reducing the needs for cranes and associated land disturbances and tree removal. And it will provide long-term durability that products like wood or metal and steel do not offer. In this case, we have funds budgeted in the capital improvement plan for the regional park walking, hiking trail. Are there any questions?
Andrew, for the public's knowledge, which regional park is this?
So, yes, regional park in this case is Washington County Regional Park, the one that's located off of Mount Etna.
Okay, that's what I thought.
The trail will connect from what people are familiar with now, the developed area of Regional Park. It'll wind through. We have a disc golf course there, so we thread the needle, forms a figure-8 loop around lands to the south, and then ultimately connect to Landis Road, where there would be a new parking lot constructed, and this bridge crossing is closer to that southern end.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks at the cost. I mean, I guess only one company actually bid for it. Was there consideration to go back out to try and get more?
So in this case, the fiberglass bridge manufacturing, there's only a handful of companies that do it. I had talked to several prior to doing a formal bid. Some of the limitations for some of the companies were for that span, their manufacturing limitations wouldn't allow an emergency vehicle to cross, and so in this case, that was an important factor. So ultimately, if there's only a few suppliers, you're limited by the pricing in that instance. But overall, I feel it's a fair value. I mean, when you compare it to what a steel bridge would be, and this also includes the design work for the shop drawings and everything that'll be associated with it.
Yeah, I did a quick search, and it's right in the range of what it should be, so.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next item under tab 12, Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention, Residential Substance Abuse Treatment Program, approval to submit application and accept funding.
Good morning, Karsten Arns, Senior Grant Manager, Office of Grant Management.
Good morning, Megan Willis, Director of the Day Reporting Center at the Sheriff's Office.
Today, we're asking that the Board of County Commissioners move to approve the submission for the grant application for the Residential Substance Abuse Treatment Program to the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention in the amount of $200,000 and accept any funding as awarded. The Residential Substance Abuse Treatment, or RSAT program, grant support the Washington County Detention Center's Jail-Based Medication Assisted Treatment, or MAT, program by funding a contracted part-time peer recovery specialist, long-acting injectable buprenorphine, and low-barrier reentry supports. The peer recovery specialist will engage individuals before and after release from the detention center, facilitating linkage to substance use and behavioral health treatment, provide referrals to community resources, and assist with recovery and reentry. Grant funds will also provide long-acting injectable buprenorphine to promote continuity of care and essential reentry items such as cellular phones and clothing to reduce barriers to treatment engagement. These services will strengthen the continuum of care for justice-involved individuals and support recovery and reduce recidivism and overdose risk. This does come with a match, which if we got the full award on this at $200,000 would be $66,667, which was written into the grant proposal as being an in-kind, being covered by salaries that are already being paid by the county.
Is this a grant we apply for every year?
We applied, the timeframes have been a little strange. We applied and were awarded it in January 2025. I think it ran January 2025 to September 30th, 2025, and we did receive it for that time. This is the first I've seen it out for proposals since then. And I believe that was the first time we received the grant, as far as I'm aware of, back in 2025.
This isn't a new cost or an additional cost. We already have the position budgeted for.
The match?
The match budgeted
Yes,
for.
that's the addictions counselor and the peer recovery
Okay,
specialist.
so this is just new money that we can add to our budget.
Correct.
Okay. Consideration, motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item under tab 13 is J.A. Hurst and Sons LLC, Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program known as CREP easement proposal.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Boggs, Rural Preservation Administrator, Department of Planning and Zoning. Today I bring to you a Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program easement proposal for the J.A. Hurst and Sons LLP property on Ashton Road in Clear Spring. It's going to be a 20-acre CREP easement. 14 acres of that will be woods, 6 acres are pasture ground, and it's going to buffer about 1,950 linear feet of Tom's Run there that heads into the Potomac River. We've been funded to purchase these. We've got over 2,000 acres in CREP since 2010. And this easement will, protect the waterway as well as help to protect the Potomac River and, of course, the Chesapeake Bay en route. These CREP easements kind of go as a project-by-project basis. It doesn't have a grant cycle like some of my other programs. So, when I get a proposal, I send it down to DNR and I say, you got money? They say, yeah. And I say, all right, I got a project for you. They're 100% state dollars, and like similar to some of our other programs, we'll receive a 3% of the easement value for admin costs and 1.5% for compliance costs to cover, and then of course they'll cover costs of legal and surveys, things like that. So, of course, if we reject these funds, then they'll just be distributed to some other county who has a project. Outside of that, the recommended motion is to approve the project in the amount of $97,350 over 20 easement acres and to adopt the associated ordinance. Any
Motion
questions?
to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for approval.
Question, sorry.
Yeah.
So when this is set aside, is anyone allowed to farm the land, or no, it just has to?
So the CREP easement will actually only cover a 20-acre portion of this 100-plus acre property. Most of it is in crop ground currently, and it will stay. It'll be allowed to stay in crop ground. What the easement does is that there is a temporary CREP buffer through the FSA's Farm Service Agency on the property already. What the CREP easement does is it makes that buffer permanent, so that, from here until the end of time or the fall of Rome, it will remain in place with restrictions to keep the buffer in place around Tom's Run.
So it'll continue to be used as it is today, as far as the farming goes?
Correct. Yeah, there will really be no changes in the use of the land. The ag production will continue, and all we're doing is making the current buffer permanent on the property.
Great, thank you.
Chris, what's the accepted distance for a buffer for a stream?
So it can, in this program, It can be anywhere from 35 feet each side of the stream to over 200 feet each side of the stream. It really comes down to what the Soil Conservation and Farm Service Agency believe the situation necessitates. And they base that off of the slope of the ground coming toward the stream, the land use. Is it, hay, or is it, tillable ground? Is it pasture? There are several factors that fall into place, and some of it comes down to just what the landowner prefers to have as a buffer.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Motion?
We got first and a second.
We did? Okay. Ready to vote? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just adding one more thing. Recently, I settled an easement last week, and that put us over the 44,000 acre mark of permanently preserved land in the county. So,
And short-term?
oh no, that was a permanent easement.
Permit, and then how much we have short-term?
Short-term is probably right around that. I'd have to double check those
Just
numbers.
approximately 40,000 as
Yeah,
well. So we're over 80-some thousand acres that we've preserved.
Yeah, plus
to
you've
some
got,
degree.
plus you've got, of course, the parks and the federal and state land.
I think one time you said Washington County's about 300,000 acres and over 100,000 is undeveloped
sort of
or parked
protection.
or
Yep.
preserved.
Yep, that's correct.
Thank you very much.
We're cruising along.
Thank you, Chris. Next item under tab 14, State Homeland Security Grant Program, approval to submit grant application and accept awarded funding.
Morning.
Good morning still.
Richard Lesh, Grant Manager, Office of Grant Management.
Cody Swope, Emergency Management Specialist, Washington County Emergency Management.
We are requesting a ratification of the submission of an application to the State Homeland Security Grant to the Maryland Emergency Management Agency in the amount of $93,089.78 and a motion to accept the funding as awarded. Due to the delayed release of the notice of funding opportunity and the constricted application deadline, we proceeded to sign and submit the grant application by the deadline on August 3rd of 2026. The State Homeland Security Grant Program is administered by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and passes through the State Emergency Management Agency to be distributed to local jurisdictions. The program is intended to enhance and maintain current Homeland Security initiatives as they pertain to prevention, preparedness, response, recovery, and mitigation. The grant will cover operational costs and other costs, which include training, equipment, public outreach, and response capabilities. The Office of Grant Management has reviewed these grant guidelines, and the performance period for this federal grant is October 1, 2026 through August 31st of 2029. There are no matching funds requirement for this grant.
Is that a motion?
Motion to accept.
You're nodding your head. Okay.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab 15, Emergency Management Performance Grant, approval to ratify the submission of the grant application and accept awarded funding.
Richard Lush, Grant Manager, Office of Grant Management.
Cody Swope, Emergency Management Specialist for Emergency Management.
We are requesting ratification of the submission of the application to the Emergency Management Performance Grant Program to the Maryland Department of Emergency Management Agency and a motion to accept the funding as awarded by the agency. Due to the delayed release of the notice of funding opportunity and the constricted application deadline, we proceeded to sign and submit the grant application on the deadline of July 15th of 2026. The purpose of the Emergency Management Performance Grant Program is to provide federal funds to states to assist state, local, tribal, and territorial emergency management agencies in obtaining the resources required to support the national preparedness goals. The Maryland Department of Emergency Management is expected to award the county $97,907.22, which will fund other related equipment for emergency management. The Office of Grant Management has reviewed these grant guidelines. The performance period is October 1, 26 through September 30th of 28. The funding will be used for operating expenses. There is a 100% match requirement for this grant, which will be accomplished by using the Directors of Emergency Management salary.
Okay. Your thoughts? Questions?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next item under tab 16, pass-through fund agreement with Community Foundation of Washington County, Maryland, Inc. We have Zach?
Thank you, President Barr. Zachary Kiefer, County Attorney. Alan Matheny's away from the office today, so all you have is me. The recommended motion is to approve the pass-through fund agreement. Director Matheny had an initial discussion with the Community Foundation in setting up a fund to handle donations in the event of an emergency or disaster event in the county. Alan worked with the County Attorney's Office to review the proposed agreement. The intent of the agreement is to establish a fund with the Community Foundation. The purpose of the fund is to provide financial support for initiatives that support Washington County in times of emergencies. Setting up a fund with the Community Foundation provides a mechanism by which tax-deductible donations can be made to the fund, which then may be distributed to the county in the event of an emergency. The fund will be a cash account and not subject to investments. The Community Foundation will charge a management fee in the amount equal to 1.5% of the annual contributions.
Contributions or distributions, there's a difference.
Did I say contributions? Distributions, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Discussion?
So we take the money in and they put it out, they give it out.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, we're just basically the bank with no interest for that money.
The Community Foundation is.
They would be the bank.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
These donations wouldn't be from us. It would be from
Citizens.
concerned
From the
citizens.
Community Foundation, which is then tax deductible.
Right.
If it was given direct to us, it wouldn't be tax deductible, and then we have the discretion of why we distribute it and.
They also have the mechanism to manage these funds too. That's what the Community Foundation does, which, and I believe Alan had attended some training, I believe out in Western Maryland, sort of as part of analyzing the disaster event out there. And this was one of those recommendations, was to set up a fund with the Community Foundation for those donations.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item under tab 17, Mass Care Shelter Agreement with.
We pulled that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, we've pulled that one?
Yes.
Okay. The last one on open agenda then is under tab 18, Equitable Sharing Agreement and Certification.
Thank you, President Barr. Zachary Kiefer, County Attorney. The recommended motion is to approve the Equitable Sharing Agreement and Certification. The Equitable Sharing Agreement and Certification, or ESAC, is an annual Department of Justice reporting requirement that ensures state and local law enforcement agencies accurately disclose all federal equitable sharing funds received and how those funds were spent. Required under federal law, the ESAC enables the Attorney General, through its money laundering and asset recovery section, to verify the federally forfeited funds shared with local agencies are used solely for law enforcement purposes and to promote cooperation between federal and local authorities. Equitable sharing revenues typically derive from proceeds of federally led or supported asset forfeiture actions, including seizures related to drug trafficking, fraud, and money laundering investigations. And this is an annual report and certification that's submitted each year for the Sheriff's Office's continued participation in the program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Vote.
Thank you.
With that, I'm going to ask for a motion to go into closed session for the reasons stated.
Motion to go into closed session?
Motion is second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 5-0. Let's take a 5-minute recess.